Welcome, Cyber Scholars, to another episode of Power Rangers in Cyberspace. This is episode 45, part 4 of our Power Rangers in Space retrospective. My name is Sean Fritz, one of your hosts. His name,
Christian
what's your
Ingram.
name? Christian Ingram, the other host, the Power Rangers guy on YouTube. Here we go. Check this out. Hit our music. And we're back. That is an awesome Power Rangers in Space remix. Christian, tell them who it's from.
It's from my friend Trey, unknown artist on YouTube. Not YouTube. Facebook. Known this man for 6 years now. Trey Waddy, unknown artist. At Trey from RVA, and he's also on YouTube as Trey Waddy. So just go check him out. He does some awesome music.
And on Instagram is that Trey, T-R-E.
Yeah, T-R-E. It's weird. I forget people spell it other ways because of how long I've known him.
Yeah, well, that's true. Jason David Frank just released his first half of 2019 schedule. I'll put that phone away now so that I don't get distracted.
Yeah, my phone's over there.
Yeah, he'll be in Raleigh. That's the closest that he's going to be here. That's all I need to know.
Yeah, how far is Raleigh from you? Like,
20 minutes.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
It's like I'm in the southern end of the city. Now, if it's in Durham, where, Ultimate Comics, which is a local shop down here, they put on two shows. One is NC Comic Con, and one is, I want to say they call it RaleighCon. Raleigh Comic Con, something. I forget exactly what. Oak City Con and NC Comic Con is what they have. One's in Durham, which is like 45 minutes north of here, top portion of the city. And the other one's in Raleigh, downtown, 25 minutes or so.
That ain't
So
bad.
there. No, not at all. No. Do you have any cons coming up your way?
Nope, taking a break from cons, I think. I usually go to NecaCon in November, but I'm going to start just really saving for PMC 2020 because I have a vacation in August to Myrtle Beach. So I'll just save for that and then go to PMC, which I'm super excited about.
When question about that. So for last year or this past July when you went to PMC, did Hasbro have a big presence there?
A decent sized presence.
Like were they just like a toy booth, or was it like executives or middle management or whatever that was there?
There was like a few employees from Hasbro there, I think. I'm not 100% sure on like everyone that was there.
Hmm.
Like, but that was it. They didn't have a panel or anything. I mean, they had a panel, but they didn't have like a booth or anything.
Okay, not like Bandai at New York
No,
where you can get your exclusives.
nah,
I'm
because
I'm sure that was everywhere else.
yeah, I'm trying to fix my headphones. Bothering my ears.
That happens.
Yeah, but no, they didn't like. I didn't notice anybody there, but I'm sure there was a lot of people there.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be a much bigger presence this year or this coming go around in 2020.
Yep, PMC 2020.
Yeah. So, speaking of 2020, back to part 4 of our Power Rangers in Space 20th anniversary retrospective.
I see what you did there.
Do you like that, huh? King of Segways. More like the Prince. There's some better people.
The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
The Fresh Prince of Segways.
There we go.
You want to be Uncle Phil?
I'm not that old or that big, so I'll pass
Or
on that.
bald?
Yeah, I have hair. A lot of hair,
Yeah.
actually. Well, not as much as I used to.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll figure out roles later.
Pretty much.
Yeah, so let's get into it. Unless you have anything else.
No, I'm good.
Cool. All right. So episode by episode starts now. I don't know why I announced that because it's going to be very obvious. So episodes 26 through 34 are the ones that we're going to be covering today or this episode. So episode 26, The Secret of the Locket. This episode opens kind of, it really comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, no build up.
Yeah, Darkonda and Andros as the Red Ranger fighting, and Andros is yelling at him, "You kidnapped my sister," and Darkonda was thrown in his face like, "It was one of my finest accomplishments. What do you want to do about it?"
It'd be like that sometimes, dude.
Yeah, and in this episode, this is where Ecliptor started to be like more of like a, I hate to use the term cerebral assassin, but almost like a strategist. Like he's really started to turn a little bit. Not turn in terms of his allegiance, but like his behavior.
Yeah.
Let's see here. And I took semi-decent notes on here. We do learn a little bit more about Caron's backstory, specifically after she was taken and turned to Astronema. She was left on Ecliptor's door. I didn't know a robot needed a door. And
I guess.
Yeah, and he raised her to be evil.
The Princess of Evil.
Yeah.
Evil.
Evil. Let's see here. Beyond this, Darkonda gets got again. Oh, he creates a trap for like a laser grid type trap for the Red Ranger to get caught in, and Ecliptor saves Andros and causes Darkonda to step into his own trap, and we're up to a death count of 3 for Darkonda.
3 times.
I'm sorry, a destroyed count of 3.
Oh yeah, you can't say death. This is Power Rangers.
Yeah.
No death.
Yeah. What's that?
No death.
No death. Yeah, it's not permadeath for Darkonda.
Pretty much.
Yeah. But then there's a fight in the quad. Looks like a quad. They call it the plaza.
Quad plaza, same thing.
I mean, the only thing that's different is there a college around, and we don't really see enough establishing shots to tell. Angel Grove, Town College, City College.
Angel Grove Community College.
AC Cubed. Oh, I'm thinking of Angel City. Angel Grove, yeah. Never mind. That'd be AGC 2. Not to be confused with C2E2.
That's a lot of letters and numbers.
Yeah, yeah. So the big point in this, the most obvious thing in this episode is that during a fight between the Red Ranger and Astronema, who goes to the battle, his spiral saber grabs her necklace and tosses it. She eventually goes back to retrieve it, or Andros goes back and retrieves it after the battle, and it's a picture. It mirrors his locket that he wears. Has pictures of them as a kid, Andros and Carone, and that's pretty much the main focal point in that episode. He discovers that she's Carone.
You're my sister?
Mm-hmm. I don't think he said it like that, though.
Nah,
like Joe Dirt, like Joe Dirt.
Joe Dirt.
But then the next episode is the first half is pretty much just Astronema Astronema Thinks Twice, episode 27. She is just trying to remember what happened that day and after, which to this point we've never seen what happened after she's kidnapped. Only that same footage from the fifth or sixth
where
episode.
she gets kidnapped, like not how she's raised or whatnot. And you know the stupid thing is, she was like, I was told my family and brother was destroyed by the Power Rangers.
Destroyed, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I know. They weren't killed.
I was like, Power Rangers don't destroy people that aren't evil.
Yeah, and I mean, granted, it's no different than, it's just planting a false impression of someone or something. I guess the most relevant thing is like people will say that all cops are bad. Well, no, because if that was the case, then they would just be gunning everybody down. Now, granted, me as a mid-30s white man, I can say that without as much prejudice as somebody who's in a different scenario or different city or whatever. I mean, this isn't Detroit 1980 whatever where RoboCop's roaming around, where the city's that bad. Yeah, but it's also not St. Louis where shit's getting real. And I don't remember where I was going with that, but the perception is, your perception should overrule your teachings, I would think, or at least they would contradict, and you would have to think hard about it before you just start with a bloodlust to kill something or to destroy something.
Yeah.
Just a thought. I don't know. It's Power Rangers. It's a kid show.
Yeah, I mean, even though it's a kid show, In Space probably was the second darkest season.
What was the first one?
Darkest was RPM.
Yeah, that's true. That makes sense. Although
Lost Galaxy was pretty dark, though. Actually, it might be In Space is 3, Lost Galaxy 2, RPM 1.
Well, Lost Galaxy was effectively built on In Space with the theme and a whole bunch of other stuff, from what I understand.
It was In Space on steroids.
Yeah. Yeah, it was supposed to be like part 2 of the space opera, or like Jedi.
And then, I mean, the only thing that made it super dark, well, there was two things that made it super dark, was the whole Magna Defender arc, and then Kendrick's getting killed. Yeah,
well, that was kind of out of necessity.
Yeah. Yeah, and then when I was talking to Chris for my other podcast I did a while ago, he said that that Patty was supposed to replace Kendrick's on the show and be the new Pink Ranger, but then they wanted Melody to be the Purple Ranger, but they didn't have any Sentai footage, so they were just like, all right, you're just the Pink Ranger.
I don't know who Patty is.
Pink Space. That's her real name, Patty.
Oh, I gotcha. The girl that played Cassie.
Yeah.
I gotcha. So they wanted to bring her back.
Yeah, make her the new Lost Galaxy Pink.
Yeah, well, and this was when they were, when they were really just trying to, shoehorn the Sentai footage in there however they could. I mean, there's some obvious original footage, but like the first episode of Dino Charge was all original footage. There was no Sentai footage in there.
See, I love watching Power Rangers and being able to tell what's the Sentai footage and what's the American.
Oh, yeah.
All right, which one's the Sentai, which one's the American? I did that with SPD today. I'm like, all right, that's Sentai, that's American.
It's pretty obvious on these older ones because it's just filmed so differently. I mean, not filmed, but like the quality of the film looks degraded almost.
Yeah, it's super grainy and it's gross. It's not gross. It's like very grainy, and
Yeah.
like you can really tell in Super Mega Force, especially the Legendary War. You're like, all right,
Mm-hmm.
Sentai American, Sentai American, Sentai American.
Where's the CGI? Where'd they remove this? Where'd they remove this person? You know, that kind of stuff.
Pretty much.
There's a guy on YouTube. I don't think he's posted much recently, but he'll actually put like the Sentai split screen with like the American. And the only thing that I don't like, the only thing I wish he did differently was he'll like if there's dialogue or if there's a change, he'll pause one and then play the other side, and then he'll pause that and then play the opposite side again just
Oh
to
yeah, I've
see
seen
the
that.
progression of the story. And
Yeah, I'm a
it's
huge
it's
fan of that.
yeah, I'd love to just see them straight through. I don't care about the audio.
Basically, I already know what happens
Yeah, I've seen it before, probably.
for the most part.
Yeah. So, and speaking of seen it before, just no different than the last episode. In episode 27, Ecliptor's still doing that thing where he's in that gray area now. Is he a heel? Is he a face? You know, where's his allegiance? Him and Darkana getting a really impressive fight in the first couple minutes of this episode, I thought.
Yeah, the fight was really good between them.
Yeah, I mean, there were stakes. I mean, if you can count Darkana dying as stakes because he just comes back again. But they merge. Darkana tries to force merge with Ecliptor. Ecliptor's no, and he splits it, and Darkana's like, that's impossible. Well, if it's impossible, how did he do it before in a previous episode?
Yeah.
And then Ecliptor kills again Darkanda, so we're up to death count 4 for him.
He's
Although he
dying
didn't.
all the time. Well, being destroyed or
Yeah.
losing lives like a cat.
Oh my goodness, and further on in I think it was this episode, it was so ridiculous how he had a scroll of 9 pictures of himself, and he just kept Xing out the ones where he was dying.
Yeah, that's something normal people do. Yeah, I have this many lives left.
Yeah, they just need to put like some kind of counter in the upper corner.
Yeah.
You know, like a little tiny picture of Darkanda times however many are left, like in Mario World.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a Super Smash thing.
Yeah. Similar to that. But I did like this, how once he destroyed Darkanda, Ecliptor walks over, he's like, oh, there's no debris. But then, here we go again, Power Rangers. He screams out Darkanda, no different than Kirk did in Star Trek 2 when he screamed out Khan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then Darkanda's alive again because he's crossing off his lives in the next scene, and then this is what I thought was very good in terms of story progression. Darkanda and Dark Spectre are having a FaceTime video chat, and he says that Astronema and Ecliptor cannot be trusted, and then Dark Spectre says that he's going to test her.
Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of cool.
It was a good interaction of characters.
Oh, yeah. The same CGI from Dark Spectre, which got really old after, you've seen the same thing just on a different CGI backdrop.
Malagor.
Yeah. Although, again, harkening back to the first episode, I did like the way Divatox said, oh, you remind me of my fiance.
No, she said it like fiance.
Well, yeah, but I don't have the range of acting as much as Hillary What's-Her-Face does.
I don't know. I suck with actors' names.
Yeah, Hillary something. I can't remember what it was. Let's see here. So, back to this. So, yeah. Oh, so Andros receives a message from Astronema, says to meet him on KO35, come by himself. And so he goes by himself to KO35, and there's a monster of the day that shows up. They get into a fight. He loses his morpher, and then in a Big Show style face turn, he or she grabs his morpher and gives it back to him, and then in a Big Show style, same interview, heel turn, Astronema then makes the monster grow. And the rest of the team comes and they beat him.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what they were going for in that episode.
Yeah. Although at the very end was the way it played out, it makes sense, but you weren't really sure, until the following episode, was that Astronema agrees to take them to Zordon, or offers to take them to Zordon, and she has to go on the ship. And TJ's got the best dialogue ever. I want super duper mega fast. Let's get there right now speed. Once she tells him where Zordon is, I'm like, oh my goodness, it's like super mega fast rush it express delivery. Like, man,
Amazon Prime.
Yeah, Amazon Prime with drone delivery through space.
Yeah.
So that episode was really just to
set up the whole Astronema arc.
Yeah, and it was, Astronema Corone, you don't know what's going on. And the next episode, 28, The Ranger's Leap of Faith, was really mainly that. It was, do we trust her? Do we not trust her? At one point they shackle her in the cargo bay, which is dark. Best you don't have a holding cell on your ship. That's gigantic. It's got an elevator.
But no holding cell? Like, come on now.
Just turn the elevator off halfway through floors.
Even the DC's Legends of Tomorrow have a holding cell.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, hey, it's 99. It's a kid's show.
I don't know. I mean, did any base have a holding cell though?
It wasn't really a base, but I mean, once we get to the Psycho Rangers, there was a cell, but it was just kind of in the middle of
a cave.
A cave right next to a factory building. But yeah. So, episode 28, The Ranger's Leap of Faith, was the travel to and the interaction on, what was the planet? Utoba. It's a jungle planet. Star Wars.
Star Wars?
Yeah, because there was a frozen planet, a water planet, this planet. This is a jungle planet. So... But there was a lot of character development, character interaction between Andros and, I'm going to refer to her as Corone for this episode, and going forward when she appears to be or is Corone and not Astronema.
Yeah.
So Andros brings her food, and I really thought that she was trying to manipulate him to trust her. And then they start talking about their parents and how, if they were alive. Are they, what's their status? Not are they single ASL, but, if they're alive, where are they at? Andros doesn't know, but his, which when you think about it, his whole goal was to find his sister. What about his parents?
Yeah, are they just not there?
They don't matter? Does he care? Was the last thing his dad said, you little shit? And he's like, F this guy. I don't know.
Fuck this guy.
Pretty much. But let's see. So when they approach the planet, they have to bring Astronema out, or Corone out. She has to appear to be Astronema and have the Power Rangers captured. And she tells Alpha to open a communication to Dark Spectre, which I find hilarious. How can they just call him? His number, 1-800 Dark Spectre?
Yeah, that's one thing I've never got. It's all right, patch him through. Patch him through where?
Yeah, from where to where? How does he have our phone number? If he has his phone number, you can track phone calls.
New phone, who dis?
Yeah, pretty much. So Alpha's mutters under his breath, oh, you can say please once in a while. So then she says, please and thank you. And not in a condescending way. So that was kind of a nice character turn.
Yeah, it was the first real thing we got to see from Astronema.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, instead of just brooding and grouchy.
Yeah.
So there's velocifighters to come in and escort them in, no different than any other movie where this happens. And it was actually really well done. I mean, there were some parts that were a little goofy, but I think for overall, this scene was pretty well done. I think this show's really starting to hit its stride with getting the proper tone across to the viewer. this season anyway. But TJ doesn't like that. And he's like, F this, I'm going to crash land this thing on the, after we get hit by lightning, I'm going to crash land this thing on the planet.
If I was Andros, I'd have been like, yo, hold up. This is
He
my
didn't
ship.
and he didn't say a damn thing about it. He's like, oh no, Corone. And he has to go run out and check her, which she's escaped. Surprise, surprise.
Shocker.
Yeah, so you're like, well, what the hell's going on here? But then they mosey on out and they see that there's, which I thought was kind of interesting. There's Darkonda out there, a couple clicks out with Piranatrons. Why wasn't he with Quantrons?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Unless this is, although now that I think about it, this does help with the continuity when they were transporting with the Phantom Ranger when they were transporting Zordon, and he was chasing after them. They were using Piranatrons there because the Quantrons were with Astronema. So there's a tie into continuity.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just thought they would use Quantrons instead of Piranatrons.
They should have enough battalions, but I guess it also ties into with all the villains, past villains, scattered sporadically throughout the season.
Yeah, I mean, it was cool seeing them, but
Yeah, they're kind of goofy though. They look really low rent, quite honestly.
They look like knockoff version of Quantrons.
Yeah, and Cogs look like knockoff versions of them too, like the gold-plated kind.
Yeah, like the kind you would get from Dollar Store instead of Walmart.
True.
Do you remember the Power Ranger toys they used to sell at the Dollar Store?
It
was like these fake ones. It was so funny.
Is it like the fake pops that they sell, like the multi-packs where it's like Superman with a instead of a Superman logo, it has like a lightning bolt on the chest, and there's the Green Arrow, but he's purple, not Hawkeye, Green Arrow, but Hawkeye, but purple Green Arrow mixed with like Spider-Man, who's wearing like a purple suit.
Yeah.
Like the most gangster-looking weird amalgam of, not to be confused with Amalgam Comics, which was DC and Marvel's amalgamation of like Dark Claw, like Batman Wolverine combo.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just I love the knockoffs because it's like they try to be different, but in the end you just look at it and you're like, did you even really try?
Did you even really try?
Yeah, you bought one, you made a mold of it, and then silly putty, and then you just kind of use that to make your production of $3.50 toys.
Pretty much. I mean,
they're fun. They're little gems.
They're funny.
Well, that too, yeah. That too. So let's see. So on the jungle planet, they're investigating. There's Darkonda and Piranadrons. I already said that. They get into a fight. They morph. Andros and Darkonda go at it, and he's pretty pissed off at him. But then Ashley steps in and says, I got this. You go find Zordon, because that's the whole premise for them being on this planet. So he goes and runs, and he's looking for him, but Darkonda throws his eye lasers at him. But then
the Omega beams.
Yeah. But then Astronema helps him to his feet, and they skedoodle. They keep going. But then Ecliptor's like, hey, what's going on here? Because I guess he thinks that he's kidnapped Astronema or still has her or whatever. And she's like, don't do it. And he's like, okay, well, whatever. Yeah. But then Ecliptor, he gets shit stomped by Darkonda, like super wrecked.
After
his back, his front.
After Ecliptor had already beat Darkonda so many times.
Oh my goodness, I think he killed him twice already.
Yeah.
But then Astronema, I was surprised when the next scene when Darkonda leaves Ecliptor for dead. But guess what? He's not dead.
Nope.
Not
never
surprised. Die. Nope.
Or hashtag never destroy.
Yeah, there you go. Hashtag not dead. Hashtag destroy.
Hashtag it be like that sometimes.
Yeah, but that second hashtag I said was actually spelled out, so it was just one big hashtag.
Yeah.
So this scene actually really took me by surprise because I didn't know what was coming. There is a swerve coming. Astronomer leads Andros to Zordon, but then Andros starts talking shit to him. He's like, you dumbass." He's like, "You're such a fool." Turns out it's actually Dark Spectre.
Yeah, I was like, hold up there, what? I was like, Zordon
Yeah.
would never say this stuff.
Yeah, and he said it was like the filter that he used was just kind of goofy too. It was like, "Whoa," like he's underwater, like it's a dollar store copy of Zordon.
Yeah.
Long story short, here everyone's captured and restrained, but then Astronema, what she does, she helps everybody get out, but then she changes her tone, that she's not really helping them, that she's actually evil, I guess for self-preservation. And then Darkonda calls her out, and she does that little thing where she makes him look like a fool, and he's like, "Oh, so sorry."
Yeah, basically, which is funny.
But then the Power Rangers called you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then what is it? Then off screen you see these green energy blasts. Who could they be? What could they be from? It's Ecliptor, by the way.
Yeah, basically, like, oh, who has green? Oh, Ecliptor.
Yeah. And then eventually, so he's not dead, Darkonda, but he's down long enough for everybody to, with Caron's assistance, to escape. And then, what's his face? Then Ecliptor he's like, "All right, I'm tired of this stuff." Kills him, destroys him, and we're up to 5.
The 5th one.
So he's got less than half of his lives to go.
Yeah.
Poor guy. I mean, it's kind of a goofy premise because he's a good villain, but it's just kind of goofy.
I mean, play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
It might make sense to have it more where it's, and maybe they've fixed this in future seasons, where if it doesn't kill him, it legitimately makes him stronger.
What, like in Dragon Ball Z with Sans?
I don't know what. I know what that is. I don't know what that is though.
So in Dragon Ball Z, when Sans
I didn't ask you to tell me. You could tell me.
Nope, we ain't going over it now.
I'm assuming that what doesn't kill him makes him stronger.
With Sans, once they get to the brink of death and survive, they double their strength.
Okay, so it's almost like adrenaline.
Basically.
But then they recuperate at the same time, which is kind of what adrenaline helps you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, how about that? So yeah, that would make sense. You're just borrowing from another property, which that's what this whole season is.
It's Power Rangers. That's what they did for the whole Power Rangers in space. Oh, Star Wars, that worked out pretty well.
Yeah, well, because this was prequels.
I actually like the prequels.
Okay, well, we're not. Okay, this is the last episode.
Wow.
No, I'm just teasing. Let's see here. So the last bit of what happens here is Ecliptor tells everyone to leave, and then Dark Spectre and Darkonda are planning they're having another FaceTime chat where Dark Spectre says that he has plans for Astronema and Ecliptor and that their loyalties will never stray again. And guess what? So does Darkonda. He's got pretty much the same idea, just he wants to do it on his own because
he becomes Dr. Darkonda.
Oh my goodness. In the next episode, I wrote that down. It was so goofy. So yeah, that's pretty much the end of the episode. There's a in quotes touching forced moment that Caron has. So she's never had friends and blah 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 blah. Well, she's got friends. Okay, in the story, because that one's avoidable.
Yeah.
These next 2 episodes though I thought they were really well done, and these are before the Psycho Rangers show up too.
Dark Spectre's Revenge Part 1 and Part 2.
Yep, episodes 29 and 30. Let's see here. So Andros is giving Caron a tour of the ship. Super exciting. And then in a swerve, they summon them both to the bridge, and they make her an honorary Power Ranger with a purple-themed suit.
But before that, she was like, what do they want now? They're going to throw me in the nearest black hole? And Andros goes, well, there's one close by.
That was kind of funny. Like some of the space humor was like earlier in the season. Well, do you want to go see Haley's Comet? No, that's so stupid. Who hasn't seen that? Like everybody, pretty
Like
much.
nani. Like what?
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It was such an obvious swerve though that was coming that you didn't even really need to. It was a little heavy-handed, a little forced.
Yeah.
Um, but this next scene with Darkonda, when they rolled in Ecliptor on a was it on a stretcher, and then
Something
he
like
walks
that.
yeah, and then he walks into this other room. Ecliptor does, and so then the Quantrons grab him and strap him to a chair with, as you said, Doctor Darkonda with his old-timey doctor headpiece. I was just waiting for the lab coat to come to show up.
Yeah, I was like, what is this? What is going on?
Mm-hmm. And then we see another FaceTime chat with Darkonda and Dark Spectre. They're talking about Ecliptor, and he said, "Oh yeah, it's done." And then you don't know what it was. You're like, "What is it?"
It.
Yeah. And then I feel bad for these guys because they've been in probably 5 episodes so far, and we're at episode 29. Is Bulk and Skull, and I don't feel bad for the professor because he's old.
Yeah,
And
Bulk and Skull need that bread.
Yeah, they need that bread 20 years ago. And so the professor actually sees something legitimate related to space, is that there's an asteroid heading for Earth, and Deca and Alpha do too. And the Power Rangers with the megaship try to destroy it, and that didn't work. And then they try to do some more damage, and it still didn't work. So then they go to this planet, or they go on the asteroid, and they try to plant some charges and blow it up that way, like in what was that movie? Bruce Willis with the oil diggers? Armageddon?
I think so.
Yeah, that didn't work either.
Nope.
So then they go back to the ship, and Dark Spectre sends them a message that says, "You have my property, Astronema," which I don't know if that's really
Hold
way you
up.
want to phrase
People
that.
aren't property.
I agree.
This ain't the
I think
1800s no more. That stuff don't fly.
No.
No, it shouldn't have flied back then, but
Yeah, no, I agree. That's our stance on slavery.
we don't agree.
Yeah. So even though we do live in the South, that doesn't mean that we have to agree with that.
Yeah, I hate the notion that everybody in the South is racist. Like, hold up there.
Yeah.
Actually, a lot of people in the South are not racist. We just talk really weird.
Slower. I mean, not slower. Slower speech pentameter.
And we say y'all, and we drink sweet tea.
I don't.
I love sweet tea. It's
That's
terrible for you.
Oh, yeah. The 400 pounds of sugar that's in each glass.
That's why I try to drink water as much as possible. I limit to maybe once a week sweet tea glass.
Yeah. If your grandma makes it, it's a different recipe than if your mom makes it, too, by the way. Not
Oh, yeah.
You know this, but
Yes.
the cyber scholars do not.
Oh yeah, when I was in Cali and I went into In-N-Out Burger, no sweet tea whatsoever. Every place we went, no sweet tea, and I'm like,
Not even Lipton Brisk, which is nothing comparable at all. I'm not saying that at all, but it's the next best thing, I suppose.
yo, I don't understand how people have never tried sweet tea. Like, I can get some people not liking it, but just not to know what it is, it's like, what?
It's like Bojangles.
Oh yeah, I met some people a dude from Cali and a girl from somewhere out west. And when I was in Taco Bell, it was a random thing. But they're like, "How was Bojangles?"
Wait,
I'm like,
it was random that you were in Taco Bell?
"No, it was random because they just started talking to me.
Oh,
I was on break from work. They just started talking, and they're like, "So what's good around here?" And I was naming off the food. They're like, "What's Bojangles?" I'm like, "I got a story for you."
Yeah, well, I got one for you about Bojangles. Every time my dad is in the area, which is not often, but like every time they come down, they've been here. I've been here 6 years now in the South, and they've been down twice. But every time they come down now, my dad's like the first meal that my dad has to have is Bojangles.
Yeah,
Loves it.
because it's only down south. It's not out west or north at
Mm-mm.
all.
No, I don't think it extends north of like Virginia, somewhere in like the middle portion of Virginia, like probably. I don't think it goes I doubt it goes further north than Woodbridge
Yeah,
or any further west than maybe like central Tennessee,
yeah.
if that far. I don't know what their footprint is,
I can
but they're
Google
good.
it, but
Well, that's a lot of work.
yeah, you're true. True, that's a lot of work. I don't feel like doing that. But
Yeah.
oh wait, Bojangles is like their corporate office is in South Carolina, and it's like this small little house.
Oh, nice.
I pass it going from the hotel to Broadway at the beach. So, interesting fact.
Yeah. Cool story.
Amazing story.
Yeah. You ready to get back to this story?
Yes, sir.
Cool. So, where we left off, where we left your heroes, they were in a quandary. Dark Spectre sent them a message that said, I want my property, which is Astronema. And Carone is thinking to herself, well, I can get on the ship and reprogram the asteroid, which made me laugh that was actually a thing.
You
You
can
know,
reprogram an asteroid.
yeah. And so Andros eventually was like, okay, I suppose that's what we got to do. And then we have our comedy segment again, where the professor pulls his ice cream delivery truck science van in front of Commander Norquist in front of Nasada and says, there's an asteroid coming toward Earth. And
Hold up, he says, there's an asteroid!
yeah, it's true. You would think that he would, I don't know that, being in charge of Nasada, that they would be monitoring stuff like this.
Yeah, you think.
Yeah, yeah. So then we cut back to Carone in her best Astronema cosplay with her red hair. Short red hair, by the way. And
Not a
Cyborg
big
Eclipse.
fan of it.
No, but it does play into the future portion of the role. Cyborg Ecliptor catches her and says he's better than ever and that she will be too. Nasada holds a press conference. Oh, I'm sorry. Nasada sends a message to the Power Rangers. It's like, we suck. Can you fix it for us?
Save our asses.
Yeah, and the best part is that they've tried already.
Yeah,
Sort
they
of.
could not.
Yeah. So Nasada holds a press conference, complete with history lesson about the extinction of dinosaurs, based on that theory of the asteroid that hit 65 million years ago.
But they were Sludge's asteroids.
Well, until the end of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, how about that? So then afterwards, there's an interview with the professor, and he says that everyone should panic, which was hilarious. Ha, ha, ha.
You don't sound too enthused about that.
Because it wasn't. I'm really tired of this character,
You don't like Professor?
Professor Goofball.
Yeah.
I mean, he's used so far and few between that I guess it's not too bad.
I mean, I didn't mind him that much.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah. Let's see here. What happened next? Oh yeah. Then so all the Zords show up and they try to push this thing off course. And then it's entering the Earth's atmosphere. And then in a brilliant move, the professor sees a sign that says experimental spacecraft and wants to board it so that they can blast off into space before the asteroid hits the Earth. And at the end of the episode, you see Bulk, Skull, and the professor on the aircraft going what appears to be into space with no space suits on.
Power Ranger logic.
Yeah, although at the beginning of the season, I did like when they were wearing their Ranger suits going into space. That was kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't like the fact that you can breathe in space without a spacesuit. But in the first episode, the astronauts were wearing spacesuits.
Well, I mean, remember in the comic when they went to the moon, the 1969 Rangers,
Mm-hmm.
where they could breathe with their helmets on, but then when the one guy had his visor broken, he died.
Yep.
So
He didn't
I
die.
mean,
He got destroyed.
which
I'm
one?
talking about like Forever Red.
Oh, yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot wrong with that episode. We
It
don't
was a
need to
great
dissect.
episode, but there's a lot of things wrong with it.
Was it though?
I like the episode.
I mean, yeah, it's a goofy episode, but yeah, there's a lot to unpack there. There's a little bit to dissect.
Yeah.
We're not going to do that right now.
No, sir.
No, so that's the end of that episode, and it is a two-parter, to be continued. Dark Spectre Part 2, His Revenge. In this one, the Mega Winger shows up with Zane. Oh, yay.
Your
But
favorite character.
here's the best part. Zane took acting lessons during his time away, so he's got better emotion.
The Mega Winger.
Mega Winger, man, surfs up. So that thing shows up and helps, and it was built by the rebels.
Was it, though?
That's what he said. But my favorite part of this opening act is as the asteroid gets closer to the Earth and in the orbit, it causes a ear-piercing sound to the people on the planet
Mm-hmm.
because that's how science works.
Logic.
Yeah, it's a kid's show.
Welcome to Power Rangers Logic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty much. I kind of want that to be like the you know how they have like Talking Dead and Beyond Stranger Things and Talking whatever on AMC.
Yeah.
I want that to be the name of the show about Power Rangers and have it with the cadence of Power Rangers Megaforce. You know, like Power Rangers Megaforce. Or it was more like Megaforce. It wasn't super gravelly like I just did, but
Power Rangers Mega Force.
yeah, exactly that one.
Yeah.
So they find the dark fortress because what's her face is being held there. Oh, they hooray! The Power Rangers and their 4 Zords now. We're now able, or 4 Zords / Megazords are able to deflect the asteroid.
Yeah, Luke and Andros and Zane.
Oh, that's coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, as you said, those two just happen to be on their galaxy gliders, and we forgot the most important part. Bulk and Skull and the Professor are on an unnamed planet in wreckage. They survived. No, nothing. They're just kind of sitting there.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, we're just chilling.
Here, spoiler alert. They're on Earth in the desert, just over the ridge from the city.
I wonder how
would've
much they
seen
got
that coming?
charged for stealing that spacecraft.
Well, Skull did stay behind, so he probably got, and he wasn't on the show for 19 years, so he probably got dinged pretty hard. Probably doing community service to pay that thing off.
But he came back in Samurai and he's super rich. Like, did he write a book like how to avoid going to prison or something?
He probably worked 3 or 4 jobs, and maybe he paid it off ahead of time, so he didn't incur a whole lot of interest. And
Well, he has a limo in Samurai and a son.
well, yeah, I mean, gee, that just blows my logic right out the Power Rangers logic. That's the answer. 'Cause
Oh, and he
kids are
came back
expensive.
in Wild Force for Forever Red.
For 30 seconds, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, it was a good cameo. Just
You
like
know,
the
I even
Alien
once met
Space
Lord
Ranger.
Zed and Rita.
Oh. His cameo was longer than the actual actor for Alien Rangers.
Yeah. I never understood that one. I was like, because it was obviously a different voice. I guess they couldn't get the dude to come back on the show, or they didn't have the budget for it.
For one more person. Or
Yeah.
at least for him to do like ADR.
Basically, like, come on now.
Yeah. Whatever. It's a kid show.
It's a kid
So-
show.
Yeah, so story progression. That makes sense. The Zane and Andros are on their galaxy gliders, and they stow away on the wings of a velocifighter. And they do, like you said, they steal the stormtroopers' outfits and they storm the castle.
Yep.
But I did notice it's very brief. It's about 7.5 minutes in on this episode. Watching it on Netflix in the U.S. there was a weird looking chessboard, almost like a board game type board, where it was like, it wasn't square, it wasn't round, it was like an odd shape. And it had what looked like prototypes of the Super Mega Force keys as the Power Rangers. They were just kind of standing there in that same pose and that same minimalistic type design.
I'll have to go back and check that out because I don't remember that. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I was like, oh, that's cool. And then, they wander into the control room, and there's Astronema slowly turning to reveal the opposite side of her face that we hadn't seen all episode, and there's her Borg implants. Yep. And then there's a fight. Go figure. They run away, and I love the strip Quantron armor outfits. They just grab it by the shoulder and pull it off.
Power Rangers logic.
Power Rangers fashion.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they eventually morph. Then they escape by stealing Velocifighters, which makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, and then they fight the monster of the day. They save Bulk and Skull from it because, okay, they're still on Earth.
So they get them on their galaxy gliders and like, all right, we got y'all.
Yeah, once they win, they take them back to town because it's like a 3-mile hike otherwise.
Yep.
But yeah, we see the Mega Winger in action though. I did like the transform sequence from plane to, from Starscream to Transformer.
Yeah.
It was quick. It was to the point, and they could use it every time, and it doesn't pad the episode, or obviously pad the episode.
Yeah, it didn't take too long, which is always good.
Agreed. And the Mega Winger wing transformation thing onto the Mega V3, or the Mega Voyager thing.
Yeah.
Let's see. At the end of the episode, Darkonda shows his ass, and Astronema's like, hey man, you can get out of here. And just short of him being thrown out, he teleports out.
Yeah. He's like, all right, I'm gone.
Yeah, he knows his bread is no longer being buttered there.
Yeah. He no longer eats the wheat there.
No, sir. So that arc is the Astronema, Corone, Redemption, Reverting. That arc is, at least at this point, is over. Enter everyone's favorite, and I'm pretty excited to talk about this because all I've done is heard about this stuff, and I've never actually seen it until today. I actually watched these this afternoon.
Episode 31.
31, Rangers Gone Psycho.
Probably one of the coolest arcs ever in Power Rangers history.
That I can see why. I mean, it was well done. The outfits were really cool looking. The voice processing was really done. Was done really well, and I'm a fan.
They really put the Rangers to the test, and that was.
Oh my God. Well, and even like when they get into fights, their suits are heavily modified and battle damaged. It was really cool looking. Like you can almost see inside the suit, sort of. It wasn't just like ripped fabric.
Yeah.
It was actually like schematics and not really gears and whatever, but it was supposed to look like scaled armor and stuff like that. And underneath, it's pretty nifty. But basically, there's some obvious foreshadowing in here. Like when they're at the surf shop, that little girl has that stupid little pocket dictionary assistant thing that was cool back in like 1980 or 1992. No, 1997 to about 2001, when then a cell phone became a cool thing.
Yeah, that stupid thing. When they pressed it, it made the sound of their morphers, and they're like, Nandi?
Yeah.
Did you notice in that scene though when Ashley like leans over to talk to the girl, like you can see straight up her skirt, and I'm like,
no, I didn't, and I remember you telling me about that, and I didn't know where it was, and I didn't really even bother going back and looking.
I was like, y'all had to have noticed this in post. Like,
well, and worst case that they could have done was not fuzzied it, but she's wearing bloomers under her skirt, if I'm not. So It's not like she's, not wearing. She's probably wearing more than less than she could. She probably could have been wearing less, but I don't. Maybe they're. I don't know. Yeah, they probably should have caught it, but who knows?
Yeah, I just think that it could have easily been caught and it just wasn't.
Yeah, and unrelated, but it will sound ridiculous, but I'm going to bring it up anyway. Whatever happened to the Andros is in love with Ashley plot?
Oh, it comes back later.
Yeah, conveniently, right? When there's not anything else going on, when they
Yeah.
don't have any other free time.
Yeah, it's like, oh, okay, I still think I like you.
Yeah. But yeah, so the foreshadowing the Copernicus 2000, also known as a Franklin Pocket Organizer.
That's one hell of a name.
Yeah. Try spelling it. I had to pause it just so I could type it. But so we're at the surf shop. She hears that and they're like, "Oh, that's our morphers, obviously or our communicators, obvious foreshadowing."
Yeah.
Then Cassie sees on the news that the Power Rangers are at some place. There's a news anchor there, and she's like, that's weird because I'm standing right here.
Like, hold up, who are these guys? And if you notice, the thing on their chest are different.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
The colors are like black instead of the red, blue, yellow, pink, and black.
I didn't notice that.
They're either black or brown.
Well, I'll have to go back. I'm going to go back and look at that later. But then the newscaster goes up for an interview, and then instead of saying anything, it's an uncomfortably long period of time that they don't say anything, by the way. And then they just pull out their guns and they just start shooting at them. They don't hit anything.
Yeah, no. It's like they got took aiming classes from stormtroopers.
Yeah, how about that? But then the Power Rangers show up and they get beat up pretty good by their near identical counterparts, save for, as you said, the chest piece, but also their weapons. Not only are they like carbon fiber colored, but they're not the same weapon.
Yeah.
Slightly different, like a sword instead of a spiral saber, and bow and arrow for pink instead of a satellite gun.
Satellite stunner.
Yes. And I didn't take notice to the other ones because they were. Oh, there's an axe for the Black Ranger, or the Black Psycho Black. But
yeah, he has well, it's not really an axe. It's like a lance sort of thing.
Yeah, well, it's short in one part and then it's longer in another. So Power Rangers logic.
Power Rangers logic.
Yeah, but those three at least rival the weapons, the unmorphed weapons from Super Sentai Ranger, Mighty Morphin Season 1.
Yeah.
Because they had weapons and then they had morphed weapon, the same kind of weapon. They just looked different. They're just Power Rangers themed at that point. And eventually they reveal themselves, their true forms. And they're like, hey, we're the Psycho Rangers. We're faster, smarter, and stronger than you, but we're evil.
Evil?
Yeah. And then they grabbed their heads, their helmets, and they basically just sucked all the knowledge out of them.
Yeah.
Until Zane shows up on his silver cycle. And then they get out of there.
Yeah. I mean, overall, it was a great introduction to one of the most legendary villains of all time.
Well, and it was so well done. I mean, they had a lot to do with the Sentai, but the way they did it, and there was still a shroud of mystery around them, because you're like, why did they leave? Is it because they were outnumbered? Well, they don't really care. It could be 1 versus 5 for all they care, and it doesn't matter in most cases. They come back to the city after they get called back, and they just start scanning for the Power Rangers. And eventually they figure out that, we see a montage of 2 or 3 different times where they hear this stupid Copernicus 2000 going off, and they think it's the Rangers morphers, or their communicators. So they're beating up old people and
my favorite one was the old lady where she goes, ah!
Mm-hmm. Which was also foreshadowing, but also a misdirect for the next episode, I believe it was. Maybe it was 2 episodes from now.
Yeah, I'm not sure which. I just know which episode. It wasn't the next episode. It's the episode after, I think.
Yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah,
the
yeah. You know
next
what I'm
episode
talking
is
about.
Carlos on call, I think.
Yeah, which was a nothing episode. Honestly, it was just this little kid that gets this photo thing and it was annoying.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, they did take the one thing that did happen in this episode too is that they take Trang. I work with a Trang. Cut that part. Is that they take Zane. They capture Zane because TJ's using his communicator to get a hold of Zane. Calls him on his cell phone, pretty much, and says, "Hey, be careful." And then they take him, and then Andros comes in and it's like, "Hey, you see this stupid thing that was in the first part of the episode? Well, they think that this is our stuff. This is us. It's not."
Yeah, that's how they're trying to track us, but it ain't like that.
Mm-hmm. So they do a distraction with the tank from the second or third episode that hasn't made an appearance since.
Yeah.
And how would they get that if they're not morphed, by the way?
I don't know. Power Rangers logic.
Thank you. Makes sense. This episode was written by Judd Lynn.
Or Chiplin. I don't know why he changes his name.
Well, Chip is a nickname.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Who knew?
Yeah, but let's see here. So they morph when the psychos are distracted right outside the library where Zane's being held. And so there's a force field, also known as a plate glass window, in front of the library.
Mm-hmm.
And so they morph, they break in, and then the psychos show up and they beat the shit out of them, including a whole bunch of a five-way Hadouken.
Hadouken.
Yeah, and they were just like, "Oh, we're halfway dead." And so then they get recalled because they have headaches, but they have headaches because they're being pulled back by Astronema. We find out that her super evil plan is to usurp Dark Spectre.
Yeah.
But she has to drain his power first.
Just take all this power I can't even talk today. So she can become the new Queen of Evil. Evil?
I think it was Monarch of Evil.
Yeah.
Something like that.
She's a princess of evil. She wants to be the Queen of Evil.
Yeah.
The Queen bitch.
Pretty much. Queen Bee of Evil. Queen Bee. So in this next episode, I'm going to skip right over it. Episode 32, Carlos on Call. Here's the short of it. Some kid sees him morph by way of pictures in a photo booth. Kind of a cool graphic, honestly.
Yeah, it was pretty cool, but it was stupid of him. He's like, I'm going to morph in this photo booth.
Well, he couldn't run into like the bathroom, and then he couldn't run into all these other places. And then he like casually, calmly, slowly Carlos his way into this photo booth. Like, man.
Did you notice what game he was playing at the arcade?
WWF Superstars on the arcade, and he was Honky Tonk Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Sophie's like, I can do better.
And she's slamming on Ultimate Warrior. I thought that was hilarious.
I was like, oh, so this is a thing.
It's a real thing. You're not familiar with this game?
No, I knew about the game because I played it at a local arcade shop. But I had to, when I rewatched the episodes, I'm like, hold on, they're playing a WWE game. Chill out.
No, they're playing a WWF game.
Same shit, different day.
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, the episode was not great. It was a filler episode.
Yeah, and did this girl ever come back in anything?
Yes, she does.
Is in this season?
Yes.
Oh man. And I don't even think they. Yeah, they did defeat one ranger, one Psycho Ranger in this episode.
So so they came out with like a VHS tape of the Psycho Rangers.
No, they didn't defeat one in this one.
I don't know if they did or not. I just know
they didn't. They did not.
I just know when I was watching the VHS tape, it would show the whole Psycho Ranger arc, but it skipped over this episode.
Good, because it's honestly it's a skip. There's just a couple fight scenes with the Psycho Rangers, but there's a monster of the day. But you do see a lot of infighting between the Psycho Rangers because they want to get the credit. They're truly evil in the sense that they're selfish.
Evil.
Yes. So we'll just go right to the next one. Episode 33, A Rift in the Rangers. The setup of this is awful because Cassie's just super mad that everyone's a slob when it's her week to clean. Okay.
I mean, you either get mad or you just don't.
Or get even. They are so blatant about being such assholes when she's trying to clean, like to the point where Cassie's cleaning, she's sweeping furiously, which actually creates more dust than it does clean. And she had just finished cleaning the table where everyone was already eating at again, and she had just mopped the floor, which wasn't dry yet. So why are you sweeping if the floor's not dry, first of all? Second of all...
Power Rangers logic.
Yes. So then there's, they're like, it's like they had like tomato soup with every single saltine cracker ever made, because there were crumbs of crushed whatever it was, pita bread, saltine crackers, something of the like, all around their plates. That are like there was a localized food fight to just the surface of the table. And what is it? Ashley's trying to leave because there was something going on that she had to go tend to, and Cassie's like, "You're not going to clean up your mess?" And so she just takes her hand and like brushes the mess onto the floor, and she gets so mad. Like I had to laugh about it. It's like talking to a child. It's like how two children would interact.
I mean, nope, gotta keep my mouth shut. Nope, not gonna say it.
Under 12. Two siblings under 12.
I mean, honestly though, that's how some females interact though. Dudes would be like, "Alright, clean it up."
No, they'd hit each other and they'd be fine with it.
Yeah. Females, they just argue back and forth and then they hate each other for like 10 years.
Are you generalizing or assuming their gender?
I'm sorry.
I'll accept your apology on behalf of all assumed gendered men and women across the world.
Wait, hold up. Before we continue, you saw that video of GameStop?
No. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Please tell me you're lying.
I'm dead serious. I don't know what you're talking about. I've been with family the last few days, so
oh my god, I'm gonna send you the video. Everybody's joking about that video.
Okay.
It's a transgender woman in GameStop, and this lady goes, "Sir, you need to calm down," and in the deepest voice you can think of, "It is ma'am."
Oh my.
I was like, "Oh no, she gonna beat somebody's ass."
So, when I worked in retail, now this is pre-2000, pre-9/11 actually as well, but which is also pre-2000. This happened once in a while. You would confuse, because they're just androgynous. You know, you can't tell, and you just go with what you think. It's happened. You apologize and you move on. That was then. That's not now.
Now everybody blows up.
Yes.
And then the GameStop employee accidentally says, hang on. I'm busy. Sorry.
No problem.
Accidentally says sir again, and she goes, You wanna call me a sir again? I'll show you a sir. We could take it outside. I was like,
calm down.
It ain't that serious.
No, if that's the worst thing that happens in your day. Anyway, so episode 33, A Rift in the Rangers. Cassie's mad at Ashley. They're butting heads. That sets up the whole struggle of this episode. Because guess what? They eventually have to work together. But in the meantime, the Psycho Pink and the Psycho Yellow Rangers both want to make a name for themselves. They want to capture their ranger. So they come to an agreement, even though Psycho Red, I believe, was the one that Astronema had appointed to take down their ranger first. Long story short, the Psycho Pink goes to Earth and fights everybody, and parading down the stairs is this older lady, which we were referencing a few minutes ago. This civilian gets blasted by Psycho Pink. Ashley goes over to help and then gets like laser handcuffed with 0 point energy, like Syndrome from Incredibles.
It happens like that.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of cool the way it was done. Then Psycho Yellow left with Ashley and put her in a cell. Psycho Pink was pissed because Psycho Pink got double-crossed. by someone who should be on their team.
I think Psycho Pink's probably my most favorite Psycho Ranger.
The attitudes are just super large on these characters. I love it. They're one dimensional in that they just want to destroy things, specifically Power Rangers. But
Yeah.
man, oh man, they have such large personalities. They don't want to hide it.
Nope.
They're like, yeah, this is me. I'm gonna do this. But eventually they fight. The Psycho Pink goes to the Psycho Yellow cell. It's in the side of a mountain beside a factory.
Because
And-
logic.
Yes. Well, I mean, hey, location, right?
Pretty much.
They fight, long story short, and eventually Ashley is able to escape,
By turning
And-
them against each other.
which was going to happen anyway.
Yeah, because,
It happened the second they walked in.
yep.
Long story short, she gets freed. Cassie shows up on her Galaxy Glider, and
Grabs her while she's wearing handcuffs.
when she holds her hands up and is like, here, grab him. It's not like in Captain America Civil War where he holds up his webbed hands and Hawkeye shoots the webbing out.
Because that would have been too cool.
No, because TJ then has to roll up with his axe and, pull his punch with his axe and
Blam.
break it. Long story short, Psycho Pink's face shield is cracked. Her energy shield, as she called it.
Her eye
And-
thing, right?
Yeah, the visor. Then they exploit it, and eventually they work together, Cassie and Ashley. Perfect setup, right?
Yep.
And then Psycho Pink gets got, and then she grows without saddle lasers. Critical for next episode. Cause why? Power Rangers logic.
You gotta do the jingle. Power Rangers logic.
That's why you're here.
I
That's
guess.
your job. So then they beat Psycho Pink in regular and then big boy size, big person size,
Yeah.
Megazord, standard and Megazord size, and then we see the final scene is Astronema dressing down the Psycho Rangers, like Psycho Pink had her own plan and it didn't work, and then she walks past him and winks at Ecliptor, which was weird. Because she's supposed to be devoid of all emotion, right?
So she trying to hit or no?
I mean, 10 out of 10 would smash, right?
I guess.
Yeah, it was weird. She's into that paper mache black and green with cybernetic implants type thing.
I mean, people like
Yeah.
what they like.
Yeah. Unless you are a wrestling fan, then Vince McMahon tells you what you like.
And you better like it, damn it.
You're fired.
You're fired.
So the last episode we're going to cover is Five of a Kind, and Dark Spectre's on to somebody draining his power. Still.
Yeah, and then he
Figure
tells
it out.
Astronema to figure out who's draining my power on Earth. I'll get right on that.
Mm-hmm. So she does that, and then we cut to the ship. This is going to piss you off so much, by the way, because on the ship they have a chessboard, square chessboard, or checkers, whichever you prefer, with 5 Hobby Lobby grade die-cast plastic molds of shapes, people, a person, a shape, and they're red, blue, black, yellow, and pink. Just standard shape, single mold. And then they have 5 perfectly articulated Psycho Ranger action figures on the opposite side of the board.
It's like how, why, and who did this?
And how can you get one? Because they're not making Psycho Pink and Psycho Yellow?
Yeah, I was able to pre-order Psycho Black, but it's still up in the air whether we're gonna get it. Still pissing me off though.
I've seen plenty of people on Amazon, on Instagram that are having people custom make them, and they look really solid too.
They look good, but the Psycho Pink and Yellow were a little bit smaller.
Yeah, but I mean, what are you gonna do?
Not much you can do.
True. So then TJ has this plan to CGI spray paint everybody blue.
Yeah, after he got his ass handed to him.
Yeah.
And he got a concussion.
Well, no, this was the first time. Well, this was the first thing he had, and then they went and they got shit stomped after that.
Well, the first time they just mixed up the colors.
Oh yeah. You're right. I'm sorry.
And
he has a plan to fight off-colored.
Yeah, and then the Psycho Rangers switch it around and beat their ass regardless.
Yeah, and the only thing that stops TJ from getting got again this season is Zane, of all people. I love how they're like, oh, Zane's here. Like, they weren't expecting him to be there. Anytime he shows up with the Mega Winger or on his, motorcycle.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Super Silverizer.
My goodness. So goofy. But basically, this was just a how to kick a Power Rangers ass episode. They beat the hell out of them. And then they went with all the same color, which sort of worked.
Yeah.
Well, it worked pretty well. The Psycho Rangers were super pissed. And I'm wondering, except the Yellow Ranger, the Psycho Yellow seems to be like the smartest one.
Yeah.
So far.
Yeah, Red's just too... What's the word I'm looking for?
Aggressive?
Yeah. He has
toxic masculinity?
I was about to say that!
Yeah, he's just like, I don't know, he needs to get some or something. But yeah, then so they're all five of them are blue because TJ watches a fight in black and white.
Well, it turns to black and white. You think with like an advanced spaceship they would have something higher quality than a VHS tape?
Well, they'd have high def TV first of all.
But everybody's seen Haley's Comet.
Yeah. So technology should have advanced by now. But I did like the Psycho Silver when that showed up. It was super obvious who that was. It was Zane. Spoiler, not a spoiler. But the strategy on it was pretty good. Is that Psycho Blue, who was like super bloodthirsty for the Blue Ranger or any of them, pretty much, is like, hey, Psycho Black and Psycho Red, I'll take care of all these fools, and Psycho Silver. And then Psycho Silver was like, hey, by the way, I'm not really a Psycho Ranger.
Hey, but really? No, I'm not. I ain't that guy.
Yeah. Takes off the helmet. So it's just an outfit. Yet he was wearing the outfit and he got zapped by a Psycho Ranger, which probably would injure someone.
Or kill a normal person.
Yeah, if they're just wearing a cosplay outfit.
Like, was it an actual... Does it have circuitry in it? Like...
It looked like a foam head.
Yeah, it did.
It was like one step above Chewbacca Mom's mask.
I'm mad I know what you're talking about.
So in the long run, they do the same thing to Psycho Blue as they did to Psycho Pink. They break a shield, and then they destroy him in standard mode, standard height, and then they have to fire the saddle lasers to make him big again. Come on, can't we just use the same footage from episode to episode? The saddle lasers, just slip it in there. It's like 3 seconds.
Nope, can't do it. Too long.
Yeah, pretty much. So, but they beat him, but not before he freezes the Mega Voyager Megazord, and then they turn up the heat because they have thermometers, also known as thermometers.
Thermometers.
So goofy. It sounds almost like when Serwin had to say that line, he's like you can almost hear the end of his sigh before he said it.
Yeah.
So they beat Psycho Blue, and Psycho Pink is gone too. And off screen, or Astronema starts to lay out her plan, and then it cuts to the ship where Andros is laying out plans to test the mega ship in case they need to use the mega ship for anything, because it got beat up pretty good at some point, at some time, because we didn't see it.
Logic.
They didn't use it. Yeah, we didn't use it in the last couple episodes, but they got to use They got to use footage from the beginning of the season, not the end of the season, for the next couple battles. Is my best guess.
Or something happened to the other Megazord in the Sentai.
True. True. Um, so yeah, so that's the end of that episode. But at the very end, and because I haven't watched any episodes beyond this yet, um, I noticed that when TJ and Andros were talking, when they were working in the wherever the hell in the thing that they fixed in the first couple episodes to prove that they were friendly and not assholes, he was working on something in there. What's the word I'm looking for?
The semi deck.
No, maybe that's where it was, but he was welding panels onto something.
Oh,
Which
I don't know what you. I mean, I know what room you're talking about, but I don't remember the name
it,
of it.
it might be the semi deck. I don't know. It's not really important. But the way he was acting and talking to Andros, not what he said as much as his body language, made it seem like he was actually not TJ, but maybe a stand-in of some kind, harkening back to the episode where Andromeda, Astronema was doubling as Ashley.
No, it's really him.
Oh, okay. It just seemed like the tone was a little off then.
Might have been having an off day. You never know.
Might have just had him toss their salad.
We're here to toss your salad. None of you. Like,
So,
what?
yeah. So, but all in all, I mean, you know more about the Psycho Rangers than I do. What happens next? I'm not asking, but I'm just making a statement. But as someone who has never watched the arc before, I really liked it. I mean, it was really solid. Even at the age that I am now, I really enjoyed it. I'm excited to see what happens next.
Yeah, I mean, it was probably overall one of the best arcs in Power Rangers history, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Psycho Rangers, again, one of the most legendary Ranger Slayers, are Ranger villains of all times. I don't know. I'm just glad we finally got figures of them, but for them to not finish them is kind of like an insult.
I wonder if Hasbro will pick up and do it.
Probably
It'd be nice.
not. They wouldn't be the same scale if they did. And after I get new figures, all my legacy figures are gonna be taken down, except for probably the Lord Draken.
So they match.
Yeah, because I mean, some of them don't match right now, and I'm really OCD oriented, and it's killing me.
Mm-hmm.
But once we get the Lightning Collection and they come out with different figures, I'll be super happy.
Yeah, I mean, so do you think? So with the Hasbro deal, can they do any? They bought everything from the beginning, like all the IP and everything.
Well, they bought Power Rangers and they bought Saban.
Yeah.
Well, did they buy Saban or did Saban shut down? Either way, Saban is helping out Hasbro with Power Rangers.
Yeah, well, he's staying on as the
consultant.
Well, he's actually got a really high like a vice president title or something. He's basically being the Dana White of the UFC, but for Hasbro, at least the Power Rangers division. Like when Zuffa got bought out, Dana White stayed on with whoever the new guys are.
Yeah.
In the same capacity. So Haim Saban, I got the inside scoop from Jason. We're on first name basis now. Mr. David Frank.
Yeah.
He was telling me how Haim Saban was staying on to be not a consultant, but an executive of something or other.
Well,
I was like, oh, and it might just be a title. That might be the way he gets his payout.
That's possible, because I mean,
it's a sweet deal.
He already got $500 million from Hasbro for Power Rangers.
Yeah, well, and I'm sure part of that too was he had already invested and built stuff. I mean, he bought the brand twice.
Yeah.
He's basically a kid. As an adult, he's a kid. And then an adult, when you're a kid, you are given certain toys. And then now as an adult, these same kids who are now adults are buying what they had before. They're rebuying their childhood.
Yep.
It's kind of like what he did, but he did it twice as an adult.
Yeah.
Because season 18 was such garbage.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the last few Saban era seasons or Neo Saban era seasons have sucked. I think the best.
You know what season 18 was? It was that bullshit season 1 reskin.
Oh yeah, the technical season 18. That one was terrible.
Yeah.
That was Disney, I think. Right? It was the deal right before.
Right before
Disney.
Nickelodeon.
Yeah, Disney and Saban.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
But yeah, I mean, I mean, he probably earned, not probably, I'd say he earned his money. A few ups, Power Rangers, a few downs, VR Troopers,
Yeah.
uh, a couple other things, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles,
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles in a Half Shell.
Saban Power.
Basically.
Yeah. Do you remember how many episodes in total the Psycho Rangers are in?
I can tell you.
I looked for like 30 seconds today. It was like Psycho Ranger episodes, or how many episodes are the Psycho Rangers in?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 6, they're in the.
This is brilliant radio.
It's like 7 episodes, 8.
It's pretty good.
7 or 8 episodes. I mean, because they come back later on after they get destroyed. Spoiler alert.
Well, are you referring to the in space episodes?
Yeah.
So in this season, they're in 6 or 7, maybe.
Yeah. And
So
then
we've been okay.
And then in Lost Galaxy,
That's what I
5 of
meant.
them are in 1, and 1 of them are in 2.
Okay. So yeah, they resurface, which is kind of nice. So we have a couple more to look forward to, but it's probably on its downward swing by now, or at least in the chronology that we're in right now.
Yeah.
Okay. I wonder if, what would be cool is if they had an anniversary episode or a build up, a precursor to an anniversary episode where they had to bring back previous Rangers to fight the Psycho Rangers.
Or bring in like the Green Psycho Ranger.
Yeah, but didn't he have a short lifespan in the comics?
I don't know. They can do. It's Power Rangers. They can do whatever they want.
Oh, hold on. What if they had the Green Psycho Ranger in a side story? It'd be kind of hard to do now, but he was teaming up with, still under the Sword of Darkness control, the Green Mighty Morphin Green Ranger, where they teamed up and had their fun with beating up whatever structures in Angel Grove that they were beating up, and then the original team had to come. I don't know.
If anything, I would like to see a Netflix adaptation of like Power Rangers 1969.
That would be really cool, because then, yeah, you could definitely do it then, because that's. I mean, they could just take arcs from that Kyle Higgins run, and I haven't read Beyond the Grid yet. I'm 3 or 4 behind, but they could take so many of those individual. They could just pick from, because it's such a powerful 30-issue run. Like they could, they have the where they get sucked into that other dimension in issue 8, and then to get out they had to siphon off green power coin energy because it connects to the grid differently, and that could be a storyline. Just the whole Draken thing obviously is being called for. There's an article that I've seen a couple times that Jason David Frank says, hey, let's promote and try to get Soul of the Dragon made as a real as a real live adaptation.
Yeah. I mean, which out of all of them, if I want to see anything, it's gonna have to be the Soul of the Dragon story.
That would be pretty cool. I mean, Kyle Higgins wrote it, but I don't think it would be more. I don't think it would be treated as more than a 45-minute episode. Maybe a 2-parter, because they just don't have the time or the budget, I don't think.
Well, Hasbro has a lot of money, more than Saban did, so.
How much are they going to invest in it, though? And how much is Nickelodeon going to invest in if they do it? Or is Nickelodeon going to even allow it to be on a different network?
Yeah, they signed a 3-year contract. They're there till 2021.
But is it Nickelodeon? But so if it's on Nickelodeon, it's definitely going to be, watered down big time. No different than the 25th anniversary was kind of Draken, sort of. But
Lord Draven.
Yeah. How closer can you get?
I was actually talking to Peter Sidarso at PMC. He's like, because I showed him a picture. It was like, hey, can I copy your homework? Yeah, just change it up a little bit. And it was Lord Draken and Lord Draven. And he's like, no, honestly, that's how we felt.
It's not far off.
He's like, it pissed us all off, but not much you can do.
Yeah. I mean, the names are so fanatical, and kind of ridiculous to some degree. That how can you? There's only so many names you can come up with. But if you remember in the comics, and this is way off topic, but that's okay. Draken was a name that Rita of that dimension gave to Tommy, which was from another guy had used that so she had bestowed it to him. It's the end of that sentence.
Yeah, I mean, I think the dude in Masked Rider was called Count Draken.
Oh, really?
Count Dragon?
Mm.
Dragon? Count Dragon.
Count Drago.
Something like that. Something like that. Everything's similar.
Yeah. What's old is new again.
Basically.
Yeah. We'll go with that. But I've noticed, and we were talking about this earlier before we started recording, that whenever it's almost like the Tommy Oliver marketing machine wants to gauge interest in things that he already knows is already in the process of being, fulfilled. Case in point, we weren't going to talk much about this, but he posted a picture on his Instagram a couple of weeks ago of him standing beside a giant WWE logo. He's like, does Jason David Frank need to do wrestling? And then we saw in the news, or not on the news because we're adults, we saw on our phones that he was at some wrestling event recently and he, quote, punched a guy in the face, and now he's going to enter the world of wrestling. Or a year and a half ago, he's like, oh man, I think Tommy needs an Old Man Logan type story. And then Soul of the Dragon is announced 8 months later.
Yeah. So Tommy or Jason generally gets what he wants. Well,
I mean, I don't know that that's probably to a point true, but I think because he doesn't talk about the anniversary episode. He didn't talk about that until nobody did until it was announced,
at PMC, like everything about it, because he couldn't talk about it legally.
Yeah, so he's good on the embargoes. It's almost like the marketing machine starts, and he doesn't gauge interest. He piques the fans' interest. Like he gets them talking about something that's already in motion.
Yeah.
Which is kind of smart. Like I wonder if the fans want an episode 46 of this show, because we're going to do one, by the way. We're recording 45 right now, so there's going to be a 46.
I hope.
You know what I mean, though. He's like, oh yeah, I think there should be an Old Man Tommy thing, and Kyle has already written it, or was in the process of writing it at the time because it was commissioned to be done.
Yeah.
It's already a done deal. He doesn't have to do anything with it, but he can kind of float the notion out there. It's kind of a smart way of doing it. Now that I think about it, because he's getting people to talk about it
before
he's starting the conversation. Yeah, he's starting the conversation, and then when it comes out, he looks like a genius.
When in actuality, he knew about it a long time ago.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was a special consultant on it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure he came up with most of the story, or Kyle did, and he was like, I want this, I don't want to keep that, this, that, and this, I think this should be in there.
I think the character would do this. I don't think he needs to validate anything beyond this.
Yeah, or if they do, another thing I want to see is like an SPD 10 years later with JJ in it, in the Deca Ranger.
Well, they'd have to have JDF in it, and Catherine Sutherland would have to be there for just a little bit.
Not much.
With her acting skills.
I'm dead.
In Turbo Man, they were awful. Or Zeo, they were awful. She didn't have a whole lot of. Yeah, she didn't have a whole lot of lines in the 25th anniversary episode, so I can't really judge her on that. I could, but I'm not going to.
I mean, I can't say I'm disappointed, but it's whatever.
Yeah, it's a kid show. So, anyway, what else? Anything else to add?
No, I'm good.
Me too, man. We've talked for a while. This is good.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, then remember to not remember. So thank you once again to your buddy Trey. What's his name? What's his stuff again?
Trey Waddy, Unknown Artist on Facebook. Trey Waddy on YouTube. And is that Trey?
Yeah. Is that .tre
on
Trey
Instagram.
correct? Where's your business?
YouTube.com. The Power Rangers guy. Go check me out. I do more phenomenal videos posted every week.
Including this one.
Yeah, this one's going to be on there.
Yes. Yes, it will. You can watch it. You can listen to it through the podcast stream.
Yeah, you can look at our beautiful faces.
You can watch my facial expressions.
I'm a pretty handsome guy, so, you can watch me.
And your fancy new hat.
Yeah, basically. Hopefully I have a fancy new shirt here soon.
I'm waiting for your fancy new face.
I don't think my face is going to change.
Okay.
Not that much.
I was just I thought we were going with the theme there.
No.
That's okay. Anything else? Where you can be found? You have Facebook or something too?
Yeah, you can find me on Facebook at the Power Rangers guy. Instagram, give me 1 second. I think it's the Power Ranger guy. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think it's Power Rangers guy with underscores or something.
Something stupid like that because I couldn't get it. Yeah, power_Rangers_guy, and then Twitter. I'm on there barely.
Twitter, I'm there. Yeah, Twitter is there. It's in that sentence, right?
_Ranger guy.
Woo.
So yeah, go follow me on all those. I be posting to Instagram and Facebook more than anything.
Dude, that meatloaf thing that you posted the other day on Facebook, because I was actually on Facebook for a change, made me laugh.
Which one was it?
It was Meatloaf. He's got that song, I Would Do Anything for Love. And then, it was like a page tear. It was like top, middle, and bottom.
Oh, yeah.
Top one said Meatloaf, I would do anything for love. And then the middle tear was stop watching Power Rangers. And they said, but I won't do that.
Yeah.
I laughed.
That killed me. I was like, bro, that's me. That is me.
I tried to share it to the podcast show's Facebook page, but I couldn't.
I'll send it to you.
I just couldn't figure out how to do it, and I was like, I shared it to my Facebook page by accident. I have work people on there, and some work customers, so I'm like, I can't be on there.
Gotta delete that.
Yeah. No, well. So thank you, and so as far as goodness, I elbowed my microphone stand. As far as the show goes, you can catch us on Instagram, Power Rangers in Cyberspace. Send us an email, powerrangersincyberspace@gmail.com. And the Facebook page exists, Power Rangers in Cyberspace.
Barley.
It's there.
Barley.
That's about it. I don't do Twitter, so there is no show Twitter. And if there was, I would never read it or respond to anybody, so don't feel bad. Beyond that, I got nothing else. You got anything? Any final last words?
Let's rock it.
Yeah, let's rock it. Power down.